Hello, everyone.
Hello. Before we start off this podcast, I just wanted to say that we unfortunately encountered a technical issue whilst we were recording this episode. We got to basically the very end. I turned around and looked at the computer and it just stopped working.
Yeah, so the audio that you're going to hear during this episode is from the cameras.
Yeah.
So if you're listening to this on Spotify, that'll obviously be a lot more noticeable.
Yeah.
But then even on YouTube, you will obviously notice a difference in the audio quality for this episode.
Yeah.
We're using the mics right now for this introduction.
Yeah.
But otherwise, this one's not as good as the usual standard, and we just wanted to put this up front to apologize and also be like, hey, just so you're aware.
Yeah. So yeah, enjoy the episode, but again, deepest apologies for the huge reduction in audio quality. Everything will be back to normal for the next episode.
Yeah, and by the way, if you're listening to this and you're like, oh, maybe not, this is still a really good episode.
Yeah,
I will say. A really good episode.
Yeah, we really enjoyed doing the episode, and we didn't just want to can it, so we thought we'd still give you guys the episode because we really enjoyed it, and we think you would enjoy it as well. So please enjoy it. Enjoy it.
Please.
Enjoy.
And here's the actual introduction. I'll put the music in here.
No, here.
Oh,
Alright.
Should we get
I
started?
think we should probably start.
Alright, hello. Welcome back. Are you not going to say anything? Let's not say anything to our lovely watchers and listeners?
No.
Awesome, thanks, man. Well, thanks for tuning in, everyone. This is the second part. No, if you're not going to talk, I'm just going to keep talking, dude.
It's fine. I was just working on the nerves to do another podcast.
Sure, dude, whatever. So, I think
that...
that we should just start.
Start or stop?
Start.
Oh.
You don't listen to me, dude.
Amen.
So welcome back to the second part of our... Just like you're trying to argue the whole time and I'm like, yep, okay. So anyway, we're just, yep, okay.
You actually said anything worth...
So welcome back to this...
I mean, you never listened to... I don't want to keep going with the bit. Let's start. Alright, so welcome back to our second part.
Also, no, you're allowed to say it.
This is the worst intro to the
I'm so sorry. Welcome back to the second part of our Rush talk through. We're talking through the next 3 80s albums. Today, those albums will be Grace Under Pressure, Power Windows, and Hold Your Fire.
Do you just go to Power Windows?
Yeah, we'll get to that.
You like Power Windows.
I do like
You told
Power
me you
Windows.
like it.
I just scrolled through my notes though, and it's like shitloads for Grace Under Pressure, nothing for Power Windows, and shitloads for Hold Your Fire.
Well, Grace Under Pressure is your favourite.
It is. I would say it's my favourite.
Yeah.
Let's just jump straight in then.
Just jump.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very quickly though, if you haven't listened to our first part, don't know why you'd click on the second part and not the first one. We go over a bit of our history with Rush in the first part, so if you haven't heard that and would like to, go and do that. If you're just here because you want to hear us talk about one of these 3 albums, stick around. You can hear that.
It will be a good time.
It will
swear.
be. Unless you're a Power Windows fan. No, I'm kidding.
You like Power Windows. Stop saying you don't.
I do. So Grace Under Pressure, it was released on April 12th, 1984. It was produced by Peter Henderson.
Yeah, not Terry Brown.
Not Terry Brown.
So my fun fact was this is the first album that's not produced
By Terry
Brown.
Yeah.
They initially went with, I had the name here, but it's not here. They had someone else, but they ended up leaving to make another album for another artist. I looked it up yesterday, but I can't remember who it is. So they ended up with Peter Henderson. Mm-hmm. But he was often indecisive, so creative decisions were often made by the band. Hence why the co-producers are Rush and Peter Henderson.
Yes.
Another fun fact, album strongly influenced by growing tensions of the Cold War. I mean, go fucking figure, there's like two songs that start with red.
Yeah.
In the album.
I see red.
Another fact, the running theme is pressure and how humans act under the influence of it.
Wait, so you're telling me that this album's about being under pressure? And perhaps having grace under pressure?
Dude, you cracked the code.
Damn, dude. I didn't realise.
Yeah, hey man.
But yeah, anyway, so the lyrics were all written by Neil Peart and the music was all Lee and Lifeson.
Yeah.
It sounded like I just said Liam Lifeson.
Liam Lifeson.
Alex's little known brother. Geddy Lee and Alex Lifeson.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, like you said, this is probably my favourite album.
So
as I was listening through, like all chronologically, this was the one that really stuck in my head the most. Like, I don't know why. I just think lyrically and musically, this album is like the best they've been.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just think this is like the natural peak of where they were going.
With like the synths and all.
Yeah, with like the vibe that they've had through all of their 80s albums so far.
Do you think this album is like kind of the best mix of the usual rock roots mixed with like 80s synth?
For sure.
Sounds,
like you've got tracks like After Image, and you've got tracks like Red Sector A and Kid Gloves, which have like those really nice like guitar and bass riffs, but also a heavy synth features as well. Like I think it's a nice blend.
I think it's the best produced of this era.
Oh, absolutely.
I think the way they blend the guitars and the synth, it's a perfect blend in the mix.
Yeah.
And the synths don't sound, to me, they don't sound as dated.
No, not at all.
As opposed to Power Windows, which sound heavily dated for some reason. It just does.
Yeah.
Hold Your Fire isn't as bad. It's actually pretty good to listen to. I'd rank it up pretty highly production-wise as well.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
But yeah, I would agree. Like, this is what I think Alex Lifeson wanted Signals to be mixed as.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's said that, but I think this is what they were aiming for anyway.
Yeah,
because in the Signals mix, I don't know if you would have heard, but like the guitars is a lot lower when
Absolutely.
the synths are in. It's just not
Absolutely.
mixed as well. And that's probably Terry Brown trying to, he wasn't really used to like mixing with synths and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I totally agree. Amazing production.
Yeah.
And
And just in general, the tracks on this album, full stop, are just top tier. Like, going through the list, like Distant Early Warning, After Image, Red Sector A, The Enemy Within, The Body Electric, Kid Gloves, Red Lenses, Between the Wheels. Like...
all killer.
A little bit of filler at the end.
Yeah.
Like, even I can admit, like, Red Lenses and Between the Wheels are not my favourites.
I love Between the Wheels, though.
Oh, yeah. I think Red Lenses is a natural dip, because Kid Gloves is so good.
Yeah.
And I like Between the Wheels a lot, but Red Lenses is a little bit of a dip.
Yeah.
But, the lyric that I wrote for Red Lenses is, and the mercury is rising, barometer starts to fall, you know it gets to us all, the pain that is learning and the rain that is burning, feel red, still go ahead, you see black and white, and I see red, not blue.
Not blue. I wrote here, favourite lyric. It's not a lyric in particular, but it's the fact that the chorus lyrics are all written in red.
In the liner notes.
Yeah, I think in the liner notes. I saw it on the website, but I think I remember from looking at the CD that it's all in red as well.
Yeah.
Which is cool, I guess.
That is cool.
I don't know, I thought it was funny when I saw it. I was like,
you're like, alright.
Cool.
Whoa.
Do you have a favourite track?
No, because they're all my favourites.
Okay.
Like...
standouts then.
Oh, I mean, all of them. Like, I love this whole lot. Like, Distant Early Warning, After Image, Red Sector A, Kid Gloves. Like, those four. Like, that half of the album.
Yeah.
Obviously, just swapping out Enemy Within and Body Electric to the back half. But, like...
yeah.
Like, yeah, the opening 3 tracks and then Kid Gloves, for me, would just be, like... That's peak for me.
I would agree.
Like, After Image might be my favourite, actually.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe.
That
I don't
song
know.
hits hard.
It changes every now and then.
Yeah.
Going through those tracks, though, Distant Early Warning, the world weighs on my shoulders, but what am I to do? You sometimes drive me crazy, but I worry about you. I know it makes no difference to what you're going through, but I see the tip of the iceberg and I worry about you.
Yeah,
nice. So good.
What's this song about?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't need to know.
Yeah.
I just feel it.
Yeah. I got those. Those are my favourite lyrics too. The chorus is just so catchy. It's so
and like
good.
the way that it moves, the pulse that song has, fucking top tier.
Is it your favourite album opener?
Maybe.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe. I don't know, Spirit of Radio is pretty fucking good.
You're competing with Spirit of Radio, Tom Sawyer, and Subdivisions.
Yeah. God, yeah.
Like,
and then what's the opener for? Oh, The Big Money.
The Big Money.
Ooh,
that one goes hard.
Big Money's good.
And then Force 10.
Force 10's alright.
I love Force 10.
No, I like Force 10 a lot, but as an album opener, I don't know, I think Distant Early Warning might be my favourite or second favourite.
Yeah.
Probably second only, if any, to Spirit of Radio. Subdivisions I think just wins full stop.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, if I took that out of the mix, Tom Sawyer, yeah.
They're all really good.
They're all good, yeah.
I just love the way Distant Early Warning starts. It just has that bass riff.
Yeah.
No, it has like that noise at the start. I couldn't tell you.
Dun.
No, it's like all that like whooshing, swirling sound at the start
I was just thinking of Between the Wheels for some reason.
No, that's great too. That one sounds so fucking bleak.
Yeah.
But it has that bass riff and then the synths.
Yes.
Dun, 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 dun. Oh, the guitar plays it too. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, it's so catchy.
On my shoulders.
What are you to do?
So good.
Yeah.
You sometimes drive me crazy, dude, but I worry about you. Distant Early Warning is amazing, and then straight from that into fucking After Image.
Hits so hard.
Dude, like... it's so good.
It's so good. It's just really fast paced. Just that synth that comes in with the really heavy guitar. That's probably the heaviest Alex Lifeson has sounded in a hot minute. Probably since making Permanent Waves even. I don't know. Yeah. Very, very heavy guitars for that song. It sounds awesome. And the lyrics are like so good as well.
Well, yeah, on the lyrics, I think you'll probably have the same ones. Suddenly you were gone from all the lives you left your mark upon. I remember how we talked and drank into the misty dawn. I hear the voices. We ran by the water on the wet summer lawn. I see the footprints. I remember.
Yeah, I remember how we talked and drank into the misty dawn, and I hear the voices.
I also wrote down a second set, which was, I learned your love for life. I feel the way that you would. I feel your presence. I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are hard hitting lyrics.
Yeah, man.
This album is so...
emotionally heavy.
It's very dreary.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't know if that's the word I'd use. Heavy.
It's
very heavy lyrics.
It's very melancholic, but it's like it feels very defeated. I don't know, like
defeated yet kind of hopeful at the same time.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Like, and then you get into Red Sector 8, which is truly like
tragic. Probably the most tragic
fucking song, dude.
Yeah, dude.
But like, if I don't like scream along to that fucking
every time we're about to do start a recording session, you're like, "Are we the last ones left alive?" Like that.
Are we the only human beings to survive? And you just gotta like put the inflection at the end of it.
Yeah,
it's so good.
Those are hard-hitting lyrics. Those are my favorite lyrics, by the way.
We're the last ones left alive. See, I wrote down, I clutch the wire fence until my fingers bleed, a wound that will not heal, a heart that cannot feel, hoping that the horror will recede, hoping that tomorrow will all be freed.
Dude, damn.
I nearly wrote down the other chorus, which is for my father and my brother it's too late, but I must help my mother stand up straight.
Yeah.
Like,
hard hitting. So I don't think Geddy Lee didn't write the lyrics.
No.
But I think Neil Peart heavily consulted him because obviously I think it was about his parents or grandparents or something being obviously part of the Holocaust.
Yeah.
Really heavy stuff. Man.
Yeah, man.
It hits hard, and the use of the synth in this song is insane.
It's so good.
So good.
It's a top tier album.
Yeah.
And then finally, because we're at part 1 now, I want to talk about this. So you knew about this. I didn't know about this, but there are 3 tracks and then a 4th much later that make up what is called Fear. Yeah. It was the Fear trilogy, I believe, but then it just became Fear because they added a 4th song on Vapor Trails.
Yeah.
But it works backwards chronologically, wherein Witch Hunt on Moving Pictures is part 3, The Weapon on Signals is part 2, and The Enemy Within, this next track, is part 1 of a thematic trilogy called Fear.
Yeah.
Which I really like. I like that.
That's cool.
And then obviously there's a 4th track that comes later on Vapor Trails.
Yeah. It's called Freeze.
Which I haven't heard. But I listened
It's a good track.
Yeah.
It's an interesting track. I can't remember what it's about because I haven't listened to Vapor Trails in a hot minute.
Well, I listened to these 3 Fear tracks like in order like that. Like so like Enemy Within, The Weapon, then Witch Hunt. And it's pretty cool. Like you can definitely hear the theme, like the thematic like blend all the way through the tracks. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's like kind of like the different way fear kind of has an impact on people and stuff like that.
Yeah,
which is really cool. Did you have a favorite lyric from that one?
Yes. Suspicious looking stranger flashes you a dangerous grin, shadows across your window, was it only trees in the wind? Every breath a static charge, a tongue that tastes like tin, steely-eyed outside to hide the enemy within.
The reason why I laughed at that is because there's always a meme of Geddy Lee from the last 10 years or so, is him just like doing a creepy smile, and then like the meme is like suspicious looking stranger, a dangerous grin. Yeah, dude, those are good lyrics. Mine was, I'm not giving in to security under pressure, I'm not missing out on the promise of adventure, I'm not giving up on implausible dreams.
Improbable dreams.
I think one of the verses
is it? Sure.
Implausible Dreams.
Experience to extremes?
Experience to extremes.
Experience to extremes. Oh, so good.
So good.
I can't sing anything like him. Like,
no.
I don't know why I'm fucking trying, but sorry.
You're doing okay. It's okay. I'll forgive you. It's a very reggae / ska influenced song. So that goes back to what I was saying in the previous podcast, how like across these the latest 3 or 4 albums, there's a lot of ska and reggae influences in their music, which I love. This song goes hard. The bass at the start is such a good bass riff. I just love the ska guitar riff as well. It's so good.
It's so good, man.
And like after like the last couple of songs being so synth heavy, it's like a nice little release. Not a release, like a nice change of pace from the last couple of songs.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I guess Distant Early Morning has a lot of synth too.
But then after I mentioned Red Sector, they're synth heavy, but they're definitely heavier on the guitar than the previous. Yeah, absolutely.
Body Electric?
Oh, I know you don't like Body Electric.
I like it. It's just not one of my favorites.
I love it. Like, just like the 100 chorus. I like that a lot. It's just so simple, but so good. But I didn't write that down. I was going to write that down as the lyric. Yeah. But I wrote down, guidance systems break down, a struggle to exist, to resist, a pulse of dying power in a clenching plastic fist.
Yeah, dude.
Ooh.
Good stuff.
God, it's so good.
Good stuff. And then Kid Gloves,
I wrote down 2 different massive sets of lyrics for Kid. I just wrote down half the fucking song for Kid Gloves.
Yeah, dude. Like, what did you get? What do you have?
Hang on, there's something in my eye. Oh.
You're so emotional about Grace Under Pressure.
I am, dude. Yeah. I'm not having very much grace under pressure right now.
You never do.
I wrote down, a world of difference, a world so out of touch, overwhelmed by everything but wanting more so much. Call it blind frustration, call it blind man's bluff. Call each other names, your voice is rude, your voice is rough. Then you learn the lesson that it's cool to be so tough.
Yeah, dude.
But then, the way that they invert that, like later on, where they say where it's tough to be so cool, I like that a lot. But the other lyric that I wrote was, handle with kid gloves.
Yeah.
Then you'll learn the lessons taught in school won't be enough. Yeah. Put on your kid gloves. Then you learn the lesson that it's cool to be so tough. I couldn't decide between those 2 sets. I just love that then you learn the lessons taught in school won't be enough.
Yeah, that's what I wrote down. It's very relatable to once you're out of school, not everything you learn in school is going to be enough.
This is what I enjoy about teaching so much. Is like so much of the stuff I get to like teach my children is not like my children's a weird sense. Like, I don't know.
You don't have children yet.
I know. One of the things I enjoy like talking to my like students about the most is like real world shit. Like obviously we do what we need to for like, the education system and whatnot, but using that and using like my world experiences to like help them understand that like, hey, this might be a bit tough because you've never been taught this before. Or, I enjoy that a lot, and so that lyric really resonated with me. I was like, yeah, cool.
I remember when I was in school, when my economics teacher kept telling me, like, you guys are in, like, such, like, a sheltered bubble at the moment, and once you leave school, your world's just going to get so much bigger, and you're going to learn so much stuff and encounter so many problems that the problems you have now are, like...
nothing.
Almost nothing compared to what you're going to face, and, like, that is very, very true. I've learned a lot more than I ever did in school. Basically everything.
I've learned a lot from going back to school as a teacher.
Yeah.
I've learned a lot about how that system really does shelter you.
Yeah.
And how, then reflecting on my own high school experience as a result, and being like, damn, I really didn't know shit.
Yeah. No, I didn't either.
Yeah. No one does. No. I mean, very few people do. Not no one, but very few people do at that age.
Yeah, exactly.
We sound like boomers, dude. We sound...
Well, you are a boomer.
Yeah, pretty much. We're the same age!
Well, yeah, it's just like you're just not... it's probably a good thing, I guess, but just when you're growing up in school, you're not, you're just sheltered from the world. And it's just, of course you're not going to learn those lessons because you shouldn't.
Exactly.
You're a kid.
You learn the lessons taught in school won't be enough.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. It's a very relatable, that lyric alone, but the whole song.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, we'll jump to Power Windows in a sec. Red lenses. Do you like red lenses?
Not really.
I'm not a massive...
I already read out my lyrics from that too as well. Yeah.
The moments of the song I like, the bridge.
I really like the instrumentation of Red Lenses. The
Yeah.
like the bass line is really cool. I don't know. I just don't love it.
I don't love the lyrics.
No,
I think it's a bit.
Well, we're not in the Cold War. It doesn't make sense to us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's a little on the nose. I think.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. But then
Between the wheels, that song goes hard.
Yeah. That synth to open the to open the song, so good.
But yeah, do you have any lyrics for Between the Wheels?
Yeah, I wrote down, we can go from boom to bust, from dreams to a bowl of dust. We can fall from rockets' red glare, down to brother can you spare. Another war, another wasteland, and another lost generation.
I got those as well, but those last few lines, another war, another wasteland, another lost generation. Damn, dude.
Holy shit. Were they okay when they wrote this album? Like...
They weren't.
No.
No, that album had there were a lot of production issues along the way.
Oh, true.
Obviously, like changing producers, and from what I read, there was just like a lot of it just took them forever in the studio to make this album.
Yeah.
Which obviously that's probably just because they were experimenting so much with like synth and new styles and stuff. So I'm not sure if they actually had the best time making this album. I think in hindsight, I kind of like it a bit more. Don't quote me on it. I'm not sure if that's right, but a lot of issues in production, I think. Yeah, and then obviously this was amidst the Cold War and the growing tensions. So
yes, of course,
it wouldn't have been the happiest time. I think.
No.
Hence why this album is so dark, but it's so good. It's like a little time capsule into the mid '80s, which I love.
Into my soul.
Literally, dude.
Yeah.
Literally.
It's great.
But yeah, Grace Under Pressure, it's one of my favourite Rush albums.
I think it might be my favourite.
Yeah.
Like, I would say, based on the ones I've listened to, which is like the first 13 of their discography, I would say, yeah.
You think just more so on, like, obviously the style and the production you love, but even just on an emotional level.
Yeah, on an emotional level, it resonates really hard with me. But then, like, the instrumentation, the production, all of it. Like, just the performance from everyone.
It's so good.
God, it's outstanding.
Yeah.
Outstanding.
Outstanding indeed.
Speaking of feeling depressed, Power Windows. No, I'm being unnecessarily harsh on Power Windows.
This is weird.
So we're actually coming up on the anniversary of this. Came out on October 11th, 1985.
Okay.
So we're coming up on 38 years. Pretty shortly.
Yeah, 38 years.
38 years pretty shortly. Yeah. Which is pretty cool. Produced by Peter Collins.
Yep.
So again, a different Peter to the previous one, Peter Henderson. Lyrics again by Neil Peart, music by Lee and Lifeson. Yeah. And there are a lot of really good tracks on this album. Yeah. I did not write down any lyrics for this though.
Because I've got some.
Yeah, I just I went straight, I started with Hold Your Fire, and then I jumped back and worked down, but then by the time I got to Power Windows, I just didn't have any.
Yeah, that's fair.
So let's go through Big Money. Right. First of all, are there any standout tracks to you on this album? Because I know you really like this album.
I love.
You've got this on a T-shirt.
I do. Before we jump into that, fun fact.
Your fun fact.
Alex Life's. This is the first Rush album to be released direct to CD.
Really?
Yeah.
Were there not CDs before this?
I
mean, 85. I don't think they were doing CDs.
I didn't think CDs came. No, there were definitely CDs for Hold Your Fire. I remember them talking about Hold Your Fire being a longer album because they were able to put it to CDs that they could make it longer.
Yeah, yeah.
I think that's why Power Windows is a bit longer too. There's what?
It's 8 tracks.
8 tracks?
I mean, to be fair, Grace Under Pressure's 8 tracks as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Apparently that's a fact on their website.
Interesting though. So. First direct-to-CD release. There you go. So I guess between April of 84 and October of 85, that's when like CDs came into existence?
It must have been.
I don't know. I forget that like physical media like that is still a fairly recent thing. Like DVDs only started coming out in the late 90s.
Yeah.
You know, like, and we've moved on to like 3 different formats from there.
Insane.
It's nuts, dude.
It's insane. One more thing, sorry. Lifeson recalls this album being their attempt at taking the strongest elements of Signals and Grace Under Pressure and capitalized on it to make this album more cohesive and satisfying. So I think this is their album that they're most proud of their synth era.
Sure, okay.
And you can see that in their Clockwork Angels tour. They played like a lot of songs from Power Windows. It's like the Big Money they played. They played Grand Designs. I think they played Manhattan
Middletown Dreams
project. Yeah, they played
Territories.
Yeah.
Oh god,
They played a lot of songs from this
these
album.
are really good songs though.
Yeah. So yeah, standout tracks, Big Money. I think it's a really catchy opener. Lyrics. I don't
see. So this is the problem I encountered, right? Because I looked at the lyrics for Big Money and went, "Oh, there's not really none there." But I like the song.
Yeah.
But I was like, "What am I going to call that for lyrics?" When he's like, "Big money all around the world," like.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay.
I don't know. I think the lyrics are a bit on the nose, I guess. But what I wrote is Big Money got a heavy hand, Big Money take control, Big Money got a mean streak, Big Money got no soul.
Yeah.
I just like the way he sings it near the end, and that breaks into that little riff they do at the end. The it's a really catchy tune. I learned it on bass whilst practicing for a musical that was a part of.
Oh yeah.
I was playing bass for that.
Yeah, sure.
Very fun. It's a very hard bass track to learn, but it's very, very fun.
Hell yeah.
And I kind of appreciate that song on that level alone.
Sure.
The guitars sound awesome. But yeah, it's just a catchy tune.
It is.
Just a very good catchy tune. The synths sound very. They sound good. They sound very a little dated, but I love the synths in this song. Other standouts. Grand Designs is okay.
I don't have very strong feelings on either direction about Grand Designs and Manhattan Project.
I like Manhattan Project. Oppenheimer, dude.
I know, dude. And Marathon was one that I used to skip, but now has really grown on me.
It's very cheesy sounding. It's very that song cheesy. Is the most 80s sounding song of their whole
absolutely
80s. It's very cheesy.
But like, I just want to skip it to get to Territories, you know, because I love Territories.
Territories is great.
Yeah, yeah.
What lyrics did I have for that?
What'd you write? Is it probably the same ones I would have written?
We see so many tribes overrun and undermined, while the invaders dream of lands they've left behind. Better people, better food, and better beer. That's how it says it. Why move around the world when Eden was so near?
Yeah, can't really feel what international means.
Yeah,
you know, like,
very. That's a very good song.
That's a very good song. Yeah,
hits hard. Middletown Dreams.
I really like Middletown.
I love it.
That's my favorite track off this album for sure.
I've grown much more appreciation for it.
What lyrics did you write for Middletown Dreams?
It's understood by every single person who'd be elsewhere if they could. So far, so good.
Yeah.
And life's not unpleasant in their little neighborhood.
Nice.
It's like a sequel to Subdivisions.
A bit, yeah. Yeah. I like that.
And I've definitely caught myself sort of like, sort of dreaming about what your life could be, even though your life right now is pretty good.
Pretty alright, yeah.
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 And that's, I like those lyrics, and life's not unpleasant in their little neighborhood.
Yeah, absolutely.
I can relate to this song a good amount.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. It's a great song.
It is a great song.
I like
it is my favourite off this album.
Yeah.
I would say.
Is there a reason why it's your favourite?
I don't know. I think that emotional relation as well.
Yeah.
But I just think it's the funkiest.
It's very funky.
Really cool. Like instrumentally, and like his performance, like vocally, and like Lifeson and Piet on the drums and guitar. Like fantastic.
Yeah, it's
fantastic.
I like Emotion Detector.
That one took a minute to grow on me, but I do really like it now.
I like the bridge of it.
Oh yeah.
The bass. Geddy Lee just goes. Those are a lot of.
He goes too hard on that song.
Yeah,
it's so good.
Unnecessarily hard. But he's his bass. There's a lot more bass riffs in this album than I find in Grace Under Pressure.
That's true.
Which I really like. Like he goes hard in Marathon. Big Money's one of his most iconic bass lines.
Yeah, yeah.
Actually, he's got a cool bass line in Marathon. Mystic Rhythm's not as much.
Mystic Rhythm.
That's a cool song.
I like it, but I can take or leave it. Like,
fair.
I don't know. Like, again, it's one of those songs that I think, like, if I listen to it more, like, I think it will grow on me more.
Yeah.
But I don't really listen to it that much.
Yeah.
I don't know, because then, like, by the time I hit, like, after Middletown Dreams, I'm kind of like, oh yeah, just a couple more songs until Hold Your Fire, so I'll just skip through. Like,
I remember when I first listened to this album, it did, like, the synths wore me down eventually.
Yeah,
I was just kind of, I got to near the end and I was like, okay.
It is a bit rough to, like, if any of these songs come on shuffle, you know, like, I've just listened to, like, Tom Sawyer, and then it cuts to something from Power Windows, I'll always listen to it.
Yeah.
But I think listening to it as an album is a little bit rough.
Yeah.
It's not my favourite experience.
No, it's not. I feel like compared to like Grace Under Pressure and Hold Your Fire, it's just,
God, yeah.
I think this is the most synth heavy
This is like a dip in between two of my favorite albums of theirs. So I think that's why I don't give it as much love as I should, but I still enjoy it and I still respect what it is. But
it's a lot of people's favorite synth Rush album. They think they peaked it with this one.
Do you have any more lyrics from the album that you want to share before we move on?
I like these lyrics from Marathon. So you can do a lot in a lifetime if you don't burn out too fast. You can make the most of the distance. First you need endurance. First you've got to last.
Yeah,
I kind of like the metaphor of using a marathon.
I do as well.
Life.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
It's a good song. Cheesy, but it's good. Manhattan Project. Whoever found it first would be sure to do their worst. They always had before. Yeah. This is a very hard-hitting song along the lines of Red Sector A, but probably not as intense.
They do cool. They do like their historical songs like Red Sector A and the Manhattan Project and
and it's a weird like strings in the bridge which sound pretty cool. There seems like a lot more different types of instrumentation.
I agree
that they've done in the past, like strings in the bridge of this. There's like a choir near the end of Marathon, which adds to the cheesiness.
Absolutely.
Territories and Mystic Rhythms, probably a lot more like rhythmic drumming, I guess.
Yes.
So I appreciate that. There's a lot of experimentation, I guess, in this album. But yeah, I find it difficult to choose a favorite between this and Grace Under Pressure. Okay. I think I would probably still pick Grace Under Pressure.
Yeah, I definitely would.
Yeah, I know.
Obviously.
I know you would. I think Grace Under Pressure is just not as synth reliant.
Yeah.
Well, it relies on the synth, but I think it makes better use.
And especially in songs like After Image, where it's blended really well. And
And with Red Sector A.
Oh god, yeah.
I think they use
Between the Wheels.
I think it's used to a stronger effect. It's more so to emphasize the meaning of the song, whereas in Big Money Power Windows, it's more, I guess, an aesthetic choice.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I don't know if you feel the same way.
No, I definitely do. Yeah. I know exactly what you're saying.
But yeah, good album. It's a great album. I love listening to Power Windows. But yeah.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts for you on Power Windows?
Nope.
Cool.
So Hold Your Fire. Hold Your Fire was released on September 8th, 1987, so we've just passed, when this podcast comes out, we've just passed its anniversary. Yep. That would be its 37th anniversary? 36th anniversary? 36th anniversary.
Yeah.
Yep. Happy 36th anniversary to Hold Your Fire.
Yeah. Happy birthday!
So this is actually... Oh, yes, and sorry, it was produced by Peter Collins, so same again.
Yeah.
Lyrics are by Piet, except for Force 10, which was Piet and, again, Pai Dubois.
Yeah.
And then the music was Lee and Lifeson. This is an album that you've been, saying to me for ages, you really need to listen to this album, you really need to listen to it. And I finally got up to it chronologically.
Yeah.
And as I did... Right before I was about to listen to it, Dan Avidan released his Super Guitar Bros cover of Time Stands Still.
Yeah.
And I listened to that and I went, fuck, this is beautiful. And I was like, oh, I can't wait to listen to this album now. And then the next day, I put on this album.
Yeah.
And God, I fell in love with it right away.
I think I came over to record and you were just singing a lot of songs from that album.
Absolutely, yeah. We were recording Let's Plays, I think.
Yeah.
And I was just oh man, I'm gonna sing Time Stands Still on the Let's Play. You're please don't.
You were just walking around being Time Stands Still.
It's so good, dude. So
good.
I think Time Stands Still might be my favourite Rush song. If not Losing It, Time Stands Still.
Yeah.
Which, funny, both have very similar themes.
In a sense, yeah.
In a sense, yeah. Both themes about using your time effectively. Yeah, or living your life the way that you want to.
Yeah.
And it's,
I would agree.
Fun fact for this album.
So, first album where Rush collaborated with another singer. So
yes,
Amy Mann from Till Tuesday. I think that's the band
on
she
Time
was
Stand
in.
Still, yeah.
Force 10 was written on the last day of pre-production. So it was the 10th track that they wrote and they forced it, I guess. So
they had 9 tracks and they were like, oh, we can fit... I think it was Peter Collins' idea. For them to add a 10th song. I'm fairly sure it was his idea.
Yeah. It's funny, it was written so last minute, but it actually is one of my favourite.
And it's a hell of an opener.
Yeah.
Hell of an opener.
So good. The album was going to be centered around the theme of time, because Time Stands Still was the first song that Piet wrote for the album. but ended up being more so around the theme of instinct.
Yes.
And you can sort of see that in like songs like Open Secret, Second Nature, Lock and Key especially.
Yes.
I guess Turn the Page, not Tai Shan. Man, we'll get to that in a sec.
Do you want to start with Tai Shan?
It's grown on me.
Oh, okay.
It's
like a tumor. For all of the lyrics for this album, I got to Tai Shan and I wrote in all capital letters, skip.
I think it's very... I don't hate it.
I don't like it. I've only listened to it like twice though. So maybe I do just need to listen to it more. I didn't hate it when I listened to it.
I think the only thing I like the instrumentation of it. I kind of like it. It's very...
Do you like the oriental riff that they use? No, they don't in this track.
No, that's Passage.
No, that's Passage to Bangkok. Yeah. Sorry, that's the other.
Yeah,
God.
I think this one was a bit of a swing and a miss. I could see what Pierre was going for because obviously he had some experience in China that obviously affected him.
Yes.
And I got a lyric here which I actually kind of like. It's very descriptive. It's clouds surrounded the summit. The wind blew strong and cold among the silent temples and the writing carved in gold. Somewhere in my instincts, the primitive took hold. I don't know what that means.
I do like that.
But the lyrics are pretty cheesy. It's a weird one.
Yeah, it is a weird one. I kind of want to work backwards through this album.
Yeah, right.
And then like end with Time Stands Still.
Yeah, easy.
Because I've got a lot to say about that.
Okay.
But so let's go High Water.
I love High Water.
The closing track, fantastic closer.
I love it. It's fantastic. So... I don't know if mystical is the word I want to use, but it's very...
Well, the lyrics that I wrote down,
yeah.
When something left the ocean to crawl high above the foam, we still feel that elation when the water takes us home. In the driving rain of redemption, the water takes me home.
Yeah, it's esoteric.
Yeah. It's so...
That's probably the word I would use.
Yeah,
it's
fantastic.
Yeah, it has a lot of deep meaning. It's all about how, we came from water. And we'll go back in the water.
When the water takes us home.
The water takes us home.
Yeah.
I have waves that crash on the shoreline, torrents of tropical rain, streaming down beyond our memory, streaming down inside our veins. I like the lyrics just because the instrumentation at this point just sounds really cool. Like the guitars come in, there's like synths going in the background, Neil Peart is going a bit heavier than usual, and the drums. It's the climax of this song.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's a really cool way to end this album. It's sort of like Mystic Rhythms, but I think it works a bit better.
Yeah, I would agree.
I like it.
It's fantastic.
It's a thought provoker.
Hell of a closer.
You end the album, you're like, huh.
Like, all right.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I'm not going swimming anytime soon.
Yeah.
Working back again, obviously Tai Shan's before that, and then it's Turn the Page.
I think Turn the Page is one of their most underrated songs ever.
Absolutely.
The bass riff goes absolutely hard.
Fantastic.
And I don't know if you've seen them play this song live.
I haven't, no.
Insane.
Yeah.
Because Geddy Lee is playing the bass, which is a crazy bass riff.
Yeah.
He's doing the synth. And then at the end, because in the song there's lots of like backup vocals and stuff. He does that live.
Oh.
So he tries to like go in between the lines as much as he possibly can, and it's really impressive.
That's really cool.
I think I remember him saying that Turn the Page was stressful for them to perform on tour, and I can see why.
For sure.
It's very impressive. It's just such a good song.
It's so
hard, and after like a lot of serious kind of songs like Prime Mover, Lock and Key, and Mission, Turn the Page is just a good like
absolute banger.
Palate cleanser.
Yes.
And it's just the hardest I think they kind of rocked, I guess, in a hot minute.
Yeah, I'll have to watch that live video.
You should.
Sounds rad, dude.
It's really good.
Lyric-wise, what did you have written for this?
I got, nothing can survive in a vacuum. No one can exist all alone. We pretend things only happen to strangers. We've all got problems of our own.
It's really fun because I wanted to write that lyric, and same with High Water. You wrote the lyrics that I wanted to write, but decided on other ones. So I like that we're covering all our bases here. What I wrote for that: truth is, after all, a moving target, hairs to split and pieces that don't fit. How can anybody be enlightened? Truth is, after all, so poorly lit.
Yeah, dude.
Just that last line is the reason I wanted to put that. How can anyone be enlightened? Truth is, after all, so poorly lit. Damn, that's good.
It's very relatable. I know you see all these things that happen in the news, and you turn the page, you move on.
Absolutely.
I just love the lyrics. We pretend things only happen to strangers. It's so true. You just see all this stuff happening. You're like, well, it's not me.
Never happened to me.
It will never happen.
Doesn't involve me.
Yeah.
Like it's a very interesting critique on the human condition.
Yeah.
A very fair critique, mind you. Like yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And then we've all got problems of our own. It's like we're so like. I guess humans can be selfish in that sense. You always sort of worry about things that are happening to you, as opposed to other people.
Continuing that theme into truth is after all a moving target. Yeah. Like, oh yeah.
You're like, buddy, of course it is.
Who hurt you, man?
That Neil Peart. But yeah, I think it's just a really underrated song. It's got great lyrics. I love the bass line, the guitar, and one of the coolest Alex Lifeson solos that he's done in a hot minute. I really like the sound of it, and I kind of wish they played it more so recently, but they didn't.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I guess Get Elise had used to be stressful playing, so they probably don't have the happiest memories of it. But yeah, very good song. Do you have any other highlights from Hold Your Fire? 'Cause this is one of your favorite Rush albums, so I'm guessing there's a good amount of songs that.
Oh yeah, I have multiple lyrics for every song.
Okay.
So again, just going through some of them. Again, those three that you mentioned before, Prime Mover, Lock and Key, and Mission. Yeah. Just a banger trilogy of songs. Banger set of songs.
Yeah.
Prime Mover, it's one of those songs that like the lyrics like bend around a lot, like circle around each other. From the point of conception to the moment of truth, at the point of surrender to the burden of proof, from the point of ignition to the final drive, the point of the journey is not to arrive.
Yeah.
Anything can happen,
dude.
Yeah. Fucking gorgeous song.
Yeah.
Anything can happen from the point of a compass to magnetic north.
Yeah.
Like, oh god, it's a
very optimistic
song. And I really love it. And then, like, especially like heading from Second Nature, which is like a bit less hopeful, but moving into that optimism.
Yeah.
And then into Prime Mover, which is just full blown, like, hey, anything is possible.
Yeah, exactly.
It's fucking gorgeous, dude.
It's so good. I remember when we were recording like a Let's Play, you just kept being like, anything can happen. You're just singing songs from Prime Mover.
Yeah.
Great track. It's a great track.
And again, that was not one that I loved right away. That was one that like on the second or third listen I really took notice of. And I was like, actually, I need to listen to this song a bit more.
Yeah. The one thing about Hold Your Fire that I love, it's very stripped down.
It is, yeah.
In the sense.
It feels very personal.
Yeah, it feels personal in terms of like the lyrics that Neil wrote, but even the instrumentation, it's just not as, for lack of a better word, intense.
Yeah, no, I get what you mean.
If that makes sense. Like, it's just easier, like, they're not doing as much, but even what they do, right, and how they arrange the songs is still just as impactful.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think, like, that is really well exemplified by Lock and Key.
Oh, I love Lock and Key.
Yeah. 1,000%. I had, I don't want to silence a desperate voice for the sake of security.
Yeah.
No one wants to make a terrible choice on the price of being free. I don't want to face the killer instinct, face it in you or me, so we keep it under lock and key.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This one hits.
Yeah, man.
In a weird
I feel
way.
like we've said that about every song.
Yeah.
This one hits, man.
It does. Like, my
truly.
lyrics were, we carry a sensitive cargo below
Yes.
the waterline, ticking like a time bomb with a primitive design. I love with a primitive design.
That's
we all have
such a
that killer
cool lyric.
instinct, baby.
Yeah, I don't want to face the killer instinct.
Yeah.
Face it in you or me.
Yeah, dude. So we keep it under lock and key. But it's like, it doesn't even have to talk about literally like a killing instinct, but even just like, you know, weird like emotions that you don't want to show to people. Like,
yes,
emotions,
of course.
you keep it under lock and key. It's something that you don't want to show.
Yeah, you're just hiding it. Like he even says, like, I don't want to silence a desperate voice. Like, it's very cool.
And that kind of blends. It blends well with Open Secrets, which is kind of like a similar kind of.
Open Secrets, theme. I wrote 3 different sets of lyrics for.
Okay.
I really like that track.
It's a very good song.
So the first one is closed for my protection, open to your scorn. Between these 2 directions, my heart is sometimes torn.
Oof.
And then the second one is I lie awake with my secrets spinning round my head. Something that somehow escaped me, something you shouldn't have said.
Yeah.
And then I think literally the next line is the next lyric.
Yeah.
I was looking out the window. I should have looked at your face instead.
Ooh.
Yeah, dude.
That hits hard. What was Neil going for?
Neil, my guy. Talk to someone, man.
Yeah.
Like,
mine had the things that we're concealing will never let us grow. Time will do its healing. You've got to let it go.
God, I could have written that whole song out, to be honest. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I think, like, as we head through, I think the only other lyrics I really want to point out, I love Mission, first of all. Love that song. Not many cool lyrics in that, but it's nice, though.
It's a nice song. It's got that 80s cheesiness, but it's not as...
like, a spirit with a vision. Like, oh, what is it? Like, a spirit with a vision is a dream with a mission. Like, it's a bit cheesy, but I like it, though. I really like it.
It's wholesome. I don't find it as cheesy as Marathon, and it's probably just down to the instruments that they use and how, the arrangement of it all. But I don't know. I find it a lot more...
It's a bit cheesy.
It's cheesy.
Yeah.
But I like it.
Undeniably. But then I think the final track that I want to talk about on this album, before we go into Time Stands Still, is, where is it? Second Nature. I've got a couple of cool lyrics from that I want to share.
I don't love Second Nature.
Yeah? Is this probably your least favourite track on the album?
If you're taking Tai Shan out of the mix...
I mean, yeah, okay. Tai Shan aside, I would agree. I think Second Nature is probably my least favourite on the album. Yeah. But again, like, the lyric that I wrote down, no one is blameless, but we are all without shame. We fight the fire while we're feeding the flames. Like, I like that a lot.
Yeah.
I think it's got a very poignant message.
Yeah.
It's got to be Second Nature.
Yeah.
But it's, yeah. At least that's what I feel.
Yeah. I had folks that basically decent conventional wisdom would say, well, we'll read about the exceptions in the papers every day.
Yeah.
Very true.
It's a very nice... I think every lyric from this album hits. You know what I mean?
Even Tai Shan.
Especially Tai Shan. But then let's go on to the final track that I want to talk about.
Can I quickly just talk about Force 10?
Oh, we skipped over Force 10. Yeah. I didn't read these lyrics either. Yeah.
My favourite track from the album. It hits hard.
This is your favourite track from the album, Force 10?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck yeah.
I think the album kind of loses... It doesn't keep up the energy that Force 10 brings to the album.
Especially not heading straight into Time Stand Still.
And then Open Secrets kind of brings it back a little... But then
Second
the
Nature drops it.
Yeah, the energy changed. Like Force 10, you can tell it was the last song written because it's so different in its feel compared to the rest of the songs.
God, yeah.
But I love it. I think it's just a banging track.
Did you write down any lyrics for it?
Oh yeah, I did. We can rise and fall like empires, flow in and out like the tide, be vain and smart, humble and dumb. We can hit and miss like pride.
That's what I wrote as well. Yeah.
It's just a great track. I love it. And their live version in Clockwork Angels, Alex Lifeson kind of introduces like a solo to the bridge section, which hits hard. It's like kind of like a beachy kind of.
Cool. Okay.
It sounds really cool. You should listen to it. It's just a banging track. Whenever it comes on, I always listen to it.
Oh, like whenever I listen. Like, whenever I'm, like, in the mood for Time Stands Still, I'll pretty much always put on Force 10 before it, just to get that flow. And then immediately I'm like, oh, then I have to listen to Open Secret. Yeah. Like, immediately, just like, if I want to listen to Time Stands Still, I suddenly find myself listening to the whole album.
Yeah.
Like, because it's just so good.
And that bass line at the start is one of my favourite Diddy Lead bass lines. He's playing power chords on the bass.
Yeah.
Which just sounds so cool.
Sounds sick.
I love it. It's a great song. It's my favourite. It just has that outstanding energy. The lyrics are good. Bass line's awesome. The guitar, it's kind of like it shows in this album that the guitar's back a bit. There's more guitar riffs and solos in this album, which I guess Power Windows kind of lacked a little.
But then you go from that where like that song like Force 10 brings the guitar back a bit, and then into Time Stands Still where the synth is so minimal.
Yeah.
Like, and you're like, oh, okay. Yeah, like, here we are. Like, yeah. It's cool.
But yeah, let's talk about Time Stands Still. Because this is your favourite Rush song.
Christ, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so again, like I heard Dan doing his cover of it and I was like, fuck, this is gorgeous. And I heard the original and I was like, oh, this is next level.
Yeah.
This is some next level shit.
Yeah.
And like, especially these lyrics, especially summer's going fast, night's growing colder, children growing up, old friends growing older, freeze this moment a little bit longer, make each sensation a little bit stronger.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. God, like, those lyrics make me so emotional.
Yeah.
This whole track, like...
It's a very beautiful track.
Yeah, the whole concept of them talking about, like, not to like, to have enjoyed your past, but to be trying to focus more on the present, like freeze this moment a little bit longer, like not looking back in an obsessive way, but looking back in a fond way, but really focusing on what's going on around you right now. I fucking love that, dude.
It's like trying to cherish the moments you have even now.
And because I was reading about it, and Neil wrote it about like his time on the road touring away from his family, and like and so about like, looking back and being, I'm really glad I had those experiences, but now that I'm here with my family, I really want to savor that. And it's so beautiful.
It's I think we had like a slightly different interpretation of the song. Like I interpreted it that way as well, but it was a kind of like a not a negative thing, but like when I first listened to the song, it kind of made me, I guess, what's the word? Not emotional about the past, but like miss it. Miss these awesome moments that you used to have.
Undoubtedly it makes me feel the same way. Like I could like picture this song playing like over like a photo montage of like photos with me and friends, and like videos of us doing stupid shit, and like but like that to me like is just a flow-on effect from the message of the song, which is to savor the moments that you have now, because one day you'll look back on these moments fondly, hopefully.
Exactly. Like we'll look back on the podcast, dude.
Man. Well,
and it's been
capturing
such a shit
it all on video.
I mean, it's been such a good time.
Say it again, dude. Say it again.
It's been such a good
time. Say it again,
dude. Dude, the dude's back.
Tell him. I told him to go away, but he won't.
Well, he's here for every podcast now, so.
We have our own security now. It's great.
Dude. With the amount of subscribers that we have, I think we deserve one.
Dude, what are we, like, 101?
I think we're 100,000.
Yeah, is that where we're at? Yeah. Just put a K.
Just take away the...
Just put a K afterwards. It'll be fine. The difference. But
we're at 102.
I don't know, I feel that way too about, like, especially because we are in a generation now where we are filming ourselves so much, and we are so, we have cameras and video, like high definition video cameras, and like the ability to capture high resolution photos like in our pocket and in our hands all the time. I can take photos from my watch onto my phone. You know what I mean? Like it's fucking nuts, dude. So like I think especially now that song hits harder because we're able to look back on the past so clearly, quote unquote. Like we're able to, like, I have a well-documented childhood of, and it's because my mum hoarded a lot of like things of mine from my childhood, like drawings that I did, and like photos of me and my friends from when we were younger that were taken on digital cameras and developed. We got boxes of them. And like so you can look back really fondly and see it, but then I always take that though, and I take that feeling of like, oh, this was really nice, and then apply it to now and think, oh, like I said, one day, like, I might look back at this in the same way, or, like, even on, like, shit days, I'm like, it's okay, because yesterday was really good, and, like, tomorrow, anything can happen, like...
Anything can happen, dude.
From the point of a compass to magnetic north.
Dude.
I don't know, this song really moved me. Like, this song is really beautiful, and I think, even though I've only started listening to it, like, a month ago, this is probably going to be my most played song on Spotify by the end of the year.
It better be.
Because I seriously
it's a beautiful song.
Cannot stop listening to it. And Amy Mann's vocal contribution to it
good.
Is so ethereal and beautiful, and the guitar riff is so stunning, and, like, the time signature changes into the bridge are, like... because the time's changing, and, like, and then it resolves itself back into 4/4 as it goes into... It's just fantastic.
A really beautifully made song.
Fantastic.
I was just going to say really quick, just like on looking back on things, I already look back on when we first started recording the podcast very fondly.
Absolutely.
Like, those couple of days I came and stayed over at your place, we just recorded like 2 or 3 days straight. And we bought lots of Pokemon cards, and you pulled that Leafy on.
Man.
Good times.
In between filming the podcast and we'd like, film card videos or go to Chermside or that was the fucking best.
And like even on the day of this recording, in between when we were recording, I opened an Obsidian Flames booster box and I pulled the fucking Charizard Terra. The rarest card of the box, and I'm sure we'll look back at that and be like, that was fun. And
I think that's it. Like there is
farting in here.
God, yeah.
Anyway,
I won't look back at that fondly. But I think that's it. I think that's not to get all like real on current society, but I think that's a thing. Like when I go to like concerts, I don't film anything at concerts. I'll like take photos, but not many. But I think that's because like I want to look back on it in my mind in a fond way. I don't need it to be captured in such an extensive way. First concert I ever went to, Coldplay, back in like 2012 or something. I think I filmed the whole concert because I didn't have a concept of like what I was doing yet. Whereas now I'm like, no, I want to document it like with just a photo or two. But I want to document it in my mind and in my heart more.
Do you think, because obviously when Neil Peart wrote this song, there wouldn't have been as much technology back in the day, so he's like sort of thinking about his memories in a very different way. It's basically just based on, you know, probably photos that he took on the cameras and stuff, and memories he had in his head. And now we have everything that we have.
Everything.
Do you think it's a good or a bad kind of thing?
There was a cut in the audio there. So as you will have heard at the start of this podcast, obviously we are not recording this with the microphones anymore. This is just camera audio, and it was at this point that we realized that. So apologies.
Sorry.
You asked me a question.
So I asked because you know how obviously Neil Peart when he wrote this song, we would have set this on the audio, but I'll just say it again so you remember. He obviously didn't have all the technology we had to look back on for memories, whereas we have it all now. Do you think it's kind of better or worse?
I think it's definitely worse.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's interesting. Like, there's definitely better aspects of it, obviously. But I think that a lot of it could be inherently worse. Yeah. Because we rely on it so much, you know, like, and I had a fire drill at school yesterday, and
you're playing with matches again.
Sorry. And one thing that I was joking about with another teacher was we were like, yeah, man, all these kids, like, they have no idea. Like, the building behind us could be on fire, and the first reaction these kids would have would be
to video it.
Would be to pull out their phone and video it.
Yeah.
Like, and that side of things, and I feel like such a boomer.
You are a boomer.
Sorry. But that side of things is so disappointing and so upsetting.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm guilty of that too. Like, something will happen and I'll pull out a phone or like, but then like, it cuts both ways in terms of when we opened that Obsidian Flames box before. You were like, oh, should we film it? And I was like, no, let's like, for memory's sake, you know, like, let's just do it. Like, but then I was like, oh shit, should we film it? And then like, I was opening like all of those like FIFA like World Cup cards, and I was like, oh, should I film this? And like, I have those thoughts all the time, but I don't know. Like, so I think it is inherently good in some cases, but obviously inherently bad in a lot of others.
Yeah, it's just like, are these memories that you want to keep just in your head and you just really want to be in the moment, or do you want to record it so you can look back at it? I think the only thing is just like, obviously memories distort and change over time.
Course.
So if you have something that you just remember in your noggin, it might change, and you might remember it differently to say how someone else remembered that event, or it just changes over time. Whereas if you had it videoed, you can remember exactly what it was. You have evidence of what it was and what you said. And
you're right. I do need to start filming my arguments with my partner.
It'd just be you losing all the time,
dude.
You wouldn't.
Not if they were videoed and I could remember. But
it's very interesting.
I think since we're not using the audio and we've realised that now, we should probably wrap it all up.
Yeah, let's wrap it all up. Hold Your Fire. It's an amazing,
fantastic,
underrated album, but it's one of my favorite Rush albums of all time. It's up there with
Signals.
My list goes Signals #1, Farewell to Kings #2, and I think Hold Your Fire might be #3.
Sure, okay.
I think it might be.
I don't know if I could comment on like a list yet. I don't know, but I feel like Hold Your Fire and Grace Under Pressure are both up there.
Yeah.
Alongside, I'd say Farewell to Kings as well, to be honest. That's a fucking great album.
I can't wait for our 70s Rush episode.
Our 2 70s Rush episodes. There are 6 albums there.
True.
Same I love this planning.
Dude, we got episodes on the brain. We're ready. We're ready to go.
But yeah, deepest apologies about the audio.
Yeah.
Obviously, we had no idea until like the hour or however long in that we are at the moment.
Yeah. Very sorry about that. I turned around and I saw it and I was like,
Yeah, and I'm looking at the laptop and I didn't see that pop-up come up. But it's it's fine. Shit happens, but we still really like the episode.
Yeah.
We hope that you did too, even with the lower audio quality than usual.
Yeah.
Obviously we will be back to normal next week.
Yeah.
But yes, thank you for sticking around, and that's really it.
Yeah. Well, thanks. I hope you all enjoyed this. It's a very different kind of episode. Doing a lot of different episodes at the moment. But I'm really enjoying it. And I get to talk about my favorite band. Yeah. Which is awesome, and never get to do that. Yeah. I guess.
Yeah, no, it's fun. This is a band that I've recently gotten into quite heavy, so I'm excited to talk about it as well. It's really cool.
Very excited to get to the 70s and the 90s. I'm really excited to see what you think of the 90s and the 2000s albums.
Well, now that I feel like I've closed the book on all of this now, so I can move forward now with Roll the Bones.
You're just waiting for the podcast episode for us to record before you
I mean, a little bit, Yeah. So it was still fresh on the brain, you know?
Yeah. I know what you mean. But thanks for tuning in. Subscribe, follow us on all our socials, like, share, all of that fun stuff. And we'll see you on the next time. I'm very, very excited for the next one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. Cool. All right.
Catch you later.
Bye!
Oh.
I don't know.
Bye.
Bye.